Welcome back to the Land Flipping Formula weekly live session, sponsored by the Land Investing Pros, Paul and Willie. I'm your host, Abdil, and today I will be sharing with you about how to increase your sales by marketing like a pro. Now, I'm actually really excited about this because it's one of my favorite things to talk about is sales and marketing. But before we jump into that, I want to give a few shout outs to a few of my very own clients. To Melanie Young, for one, she just started getting her offers accepted. So I'm very excited for you and working with you, as well as for Sean Selby as well. Getting some due diligence being done, and that's actually a good sign. It's only been about 2-3 weeks, so honestly, starting out that soon and getting responses like that doesn't happen that often. So that just goes to show that they did their market analysis right, they picked the right area, and basically now they just have to go through the whole negotiation process and working with the customer, which is a big deal. So this will be a good learning point for them. And now I really like to give shout outs to those, not just for people who make money or if they make a weekly revenue, but also when they make steps and actions, because that's what actually brings the revenue in the end. So if you are watching this live, comment live. If you are in YouTube, subscribe and like, please. You can comment. Ask me any questions if you like. Just so that I know that you guys are there, that you're watching me, that this content is actually helpful to you. That way I know that I should keep going or I should stop. Right now, for those people watching in the future, hopefully everything is still intact. Comment replay so we know that you're there also. And that we know that this content is also relevant then. Ask any questions as well. I will respond to them later. I try my best to make time for this, so definitely interact with me so I know that you're watching this. All right, let's jump right into the topic. I know that's exactly what you guys want to get into, and I'm on to you guys with the checklists and the blueprints. I know that's all you want me for, but we'll jump right into it, and we'll get to that later. Now, let's talk about how to increase your sales and your marketing, your sales by marketing, right? Now, in the Land Investing Pros, we do have a course and we do teach to use as many platforms as you can. But I want to discuss a little bit behind what it takes to be a good marketer and a good sales. So really the basis of why you're marketing is because that's pretty much the lifeblood of your business, of any business, honestly. If you're not selling, and honestly, if you're not selling, what are you doing? If you're not selling your service or your product, then I don't know what you're doing in business. Marketing and sales should be pretty much the main focus for your business. And then everything else comes afterwards, because that's how you make money, right? And that's what we like. That's the main reason why we got into this whole shindig. Now, so if you don't have a good strategy or a smooth sales process, you're probably losing out on sales. You're probably losing sales right now. And you're probably missing out on potential sales and then some. So as a marketer, you don't really want to worry so much about the current numbers. You do want to worry on the potentials, pretty much what you could have gotten. Because if what you could have gotten is greater than what you are currently getting, then you're not getting what you could have gotten, or all of it that you could have gotten. Oh, my Kentuckian came out there. So if what you could have sold is greater than what you are selling, you have a problem in your strategy, in your marketing strategy. So you want to fix that, obviously. And the main thing is like you need to be able to tell when you're missing out on that. How can you tell if you're missing out on sales? Sales is universally run by the law of averages, honestly. It is a numbers game. So it does take an average. With time, you will start seeing a trend in your business. You'll start seeing pretty much an average, and you'll start noticing that this will improve, hopefully. Hopefully that's what you're seeing, because with time, you should be improving in all aspects of your business, including sales. So with time, you will be able to tell more in depth what's going on in your business and how your marketing is actually doing. So if right now, if you've been doing this for about 5 months or 6 months, then you should know right now if your marketing process is actually working. I actually got a question here from a Facebook user, and let's see, favorite places to market. Facebook Marketplace is my favorite, mainly because I can just jump right um, into the market, the area, and I can zone out the specific area where I want to sell, because most of the time I have a specific type of customer that I'm trying to reach out. And I'll talk about that later. But a Facebook Marketplace is one of my favorite. Another way that I like to market is also by email marketing and just giving them my direct contact information. I do like talking on the phone and getting that one-to-one, so that way I can be able to sell them actually on the process. On the property, and I can explain to them how easy it is to acquire this property. And that's another part of your sales process. You should be able to make this really easy for the buyer to buy. Accessibility is key to being able to finish your sale and getting it done. Right? You want this to be kind of fast. And the whole thing with buying and selling is to buy fast and selling it fast, because you're developing an inventory, and you want to sell your inventory and turn it over and over and over again. So right now, it's like what I'm trying to help my clients right now. They're just starting out. We're looking for 5 to 10 properties to acquire, and we work with their budgets. If they have 5,000, then we know that we should be looking for properties that are around 500 to 1,000, right? If we are working with more than that, then right, we have a better inventory and we can go for higher pricing in the properties that we want to acquire. So really working with the budget there. But I think I got off track there. Let me jump right back into this. And I do have a script, so that way I don't miss out and fail at this. So you should be able to tell with time how your marketing process is doing. Basically, you want to be able to envision a sales funnel and bringing down all the customers into the finish line, into the end of the funnel. Basically, you're spraying out all of these advertisements to specific areas, and you want to make sure that all of them come to you or to whoever is selling your property. If you're using a realtor, or if somebody else, or you're paying a VA to do your sales for you, that works too. Or if you're like me, if you're doing your sales yourself, then they should be coming directly to you, and then that should be pretty much the end of it. Then the rest of the turning over the property should be pretty easy. And I actually gave out a checklist on that, on closing your own deals. So go back to the live session before that for the checklist on self-closing using a mobile notary to close, to turn over a title to yourself or to the owner, to the new buyer, right? I think one of the main principles that you should focus on in marketing, you should begin with the end in mind. That's one of the principles that I've learned. And before you purchase a property, or even while you're choosing a market that you want to jump into, you should be thinking about what it's going to take to actually sell a property in this area. What you should be advertising, right? I think too many investors, and I know this for a fact because I coach them, and every time we get into the area that they want to jump into, they don't really know what they're looking at, the type of customer, the type of area, right? So be thinking about how you're going to sell this, right? You should be thinking about basically like the characteristics and the selling points of your property, of your area, right? I think this causes a lot of investors to back out of an area that could potentially be really good. I know Aaron is in the middle of a desert and he's still selling a crap ton of property. And if you don't know Aaron, go back to the past live sessions. I know that a lot of people quit, and I've actually spoken with with some of you guys in the Land Flipping Facebook group, the Land Flipping Formula group. I've spoken with some of you guys, and I actually just recently spoke with someone who who was thinking of quitting because they're not seeing. I mean, it's been like I don't know if she said 4 or 8 months, but yeah, that's rough to see that you have property and that you're not selling it simply because maybe you're not marketing right, and that's tough. But I think you need to not quit for one. You need to just relax and calm down and compose yourself in this. If this is you, by the way, if you're thinking that you want to quit, don't quit. Reanalyze. Adapt, overcome, persevere. You can do it. Whatever words it takes, just don't quit. You will succeed. Here's a quote from Willie G. Actually, it's really funny. It's from the course, but he says, "Let me look at the wall. I have it written down." He says, "You can be a complete idiot and still be successful if you know how to compose yourself or to keep your composure in moments where others would quit." And I think that's pretty much it in business. If you just keep your composure when things are getting rough, you should know that others will quit. And I know this from experience and for a fact. If you just stick it out and you try your best, you will make it. You'll probably succeed over a lot of people, and you won't even know it. Let me tell you a story about a door-to-door salesman. I actually wrote this down here. This door-to-door salesman called Abdiel. One summer, he decided to do sales. After 2 months of selling, he decided he was too tired and too desperate, so he quit. Later, he realized his girlfriend was going to break up with him anyways. So after looking at his numbers of throughout that summer, he realized he would have made over 20K if he just stuck it out. That's real, true story. After that, he didn't think he could sell or be a good salesman, but that didn't stop him from getting more experience. He went into more sales jobs and to more marketing jobs that would give him that type of experience, and he got better. And he learned everything he could about land investing, and he got all the coaching that he could from a land investing wizard named Aaron, and pretty much learned everything he could. He stuck it out in this area, and now he's making more money than he knows what to do with, but he still drives his old car. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my story. Pretty simply put, the beauty, I think, in marketing though, and in selling, is not that it's not the product itself. Like it's actually everything that revolves around it. You should be thinking about what kind of person would be interested in this area. If you're in this area, for example, if you're in the desert, you should be gathering selling points for that before you even get into it, actually. So think about what are the main characteristics of my property. What should I advertise? For example, like Nike and Adidas, they don't advertise shoes that much. Actually, they advertise being elite, being the best, and pretty much just having fun and being in style, right? They really know their customers like crazy. They know them very well. So you should be able to start understanding the type of customer that you are going to be working with. For example, again, with Aaron in the desert, that area that he has, I know that he gets a lot of people who want to get away from society, who want to be out in the wilderness. And so you want to advertise to that specific type of niche of people or that demographic. So really focusing on that. Now, so like, for example, don't just, and I'm not saying you shouldn't just put a picture or advertise a picture of the lot. You should. I mean, you can get aerial pictures and a one from the ground. You can get actually those types of pictures from the county GIS map. So if you are wondering where to get pictures, you can go to the county GIS. You can get all the information for it, and you can advertise it, put it in the description below, and make sure that all the information for the longitude and latitude, for the size, everything is included there from the county GIS, so that way it's accurate. You can use you can use a lot of what's on Google to advertise your property, and that's pretty much all for free. Now, I think, like, for example, like I said, if you're out in a desert, if you're out in a city, um, or if it's a suburb, you want to advertise to that type of people, or who would want to live in there. For example, if you're in a suburb, you advertise convenience or easy living or a calm environment, a warm, friendly neighborhood, right? You're trying to advertise to that. So your title would look something like, build your dream home in the warmth of a community, or have access to the great schools in this nearby area, live by this beautiful lake in Lake George, whatever. And if you're looking at a city, for example, you're thinking of a fun and exciting style of living. That's really what you're looking at. So maybe build your business or build your home in a fun and active environment, or a lively city. Have access to all kinds of concerts, festivities, and such. So things that city people would want to have, and it just really depends on the type of customers that you get, and you'll get quite a few or the same type of customers. You'll notice that quite often, and it's not yeah, it's not always the same customers. Sometimes you get some outliers, but for the most part, they'll be pretty much kind of the same, looking for the same type of thing. Sometimes they're just other investors too. So sometimes another investor will think that they can sell that property for more than you can. So if they pay you for it, then go for it. If they think they can sell for more, and you don't think that you can, I don't see why not. If you're making more money, then I don't see why not. I mean, you could look into seeing if you could sell it for more, see what they're talking about. But for the most part, if you can make money from it, just do it, man. So pretty much, I could keep going all day with the customers. Another, I guess, just to answer more aware on what tools you can use to advertise, I'll go through some free tools right now that you can use. For example number one, Facebook Marketplace. Like I said, I really love Facebook Marketplace because it's really easy to use. You can advertise in a certain region. You don't necessarily have to just keep your advertisements in one area. But if you know the type of people that you want to advertise, you could make multiple advertisements in different areas. Excuse me, and you can strategically place your advertisements in different regions of the U.S. You can make it worldwide if you want, not worldwide, I mean nationwide, and you can start spreading out as much advertising as you can. But Facebook Marketplace works really well for that. Really easy to add pictures and give a description and get good involvement. They see your Facebook page as well. They see that you're an actual person, and you can also add a direct line to you. I like speaking with them and being able to close them, or at least pretty much have them have a set time, or have a guideline to go through in purchasing in the purchasing process, right? Because a lot of people don't always know how to purchase a property. Have another questions. Do you, and it's from YY, I don't know who YY is. Do you do any cold calling or texting? I actually don't. I don't do a lot of cold calling. I don't have the time for that. And I like the leads to come to me when it comes to selling. And I've actually been asked this quite a few times, if SMS and cold calling works really well. It can, but it does take a lot of time. And if you don't have a lot of time in a day, then this is not something you can apply into your business. However, if you hire a virtual assistant that can do this for you, and he's or she is really good at this, then definitely have them do that if you have the means to train them on that, if you need to, or pay them for that as well. You can give them commission. So that's pretty much my take on that. But I don't personally do that. Just the way that my business is structured, I do mostly email marketing. It comes directly to me. My VAs, basically all they do is due diligence, the scrubbing, the really nitty gritty type of things. So anything like that is what I have them do. And then I do all the talking with the customer. Alrighty. I like these questions. Good questions. keep asking more questions, please, because I'm almost running out of content here. Even though I wrote this it took me like 2 hours to write this. I'm a slow writer. Next one. Next thing that you can use, the source is actually Zillow. Zillow is really good. And you're welcome. YY, I see it on the comments. What was I going to say? Zillow. Zillow is a really good tool to use. Like I said, it's pretty much free, and you can, advertising there. There's so much traffic on Zillow. There's a lot going on Zillow, and there's always something, someone trying to get into Zillow and get information for properties, whether it's house, apartments, or land. There's a lot of traffic going on there. So definitely put your property on Zillow, and it's also pretty easy to use, at least for me. Zillow is pretty straightforward. Another one that's really good, that's kind of like Zillow, but it's kind of has a different take. It's landwatch.com. You can advertise there too. It's another way to get your property out there and get more spread, I guess, and get more leads generated to you. Basically, you're just trying to make the funnel, the interest part of your funnel, a lot bigger, right? So in as many places as you can advertise, try to get your information or your website, if you have one. I'll talk about that later and next. Advertise them to go into there and into that funnel. That way you can get a sale. And really, sales in general is a numbers game. And the more numbers, the greater the quantity of leads, the more likely that you're going to get more sales. So increase that number by a lot. Do pretty much everything that you can to increase your leads, and then improve the quality of your sales. If your sales process or your sales techniques, the way that you approach a customer or a buyer, is not working for you, definitely look into getting some help for that. Look into reading a book about it. I know I definitely had to read a lot more on being able to sell. That's one of the biggest things that I wanted to improve on. Just like I mentioned in my past experience, and now I'm definitely not the best salesman, and I don't think I'm a great salesman. But I think it's like. Sorry, I just read the comment and then I got distracted. But I do well enough that I can make enough sales, and I think land is very easy to sell as well. Another thing is that I'm very sold on this, and in sales you have to sell yourself on your product. Otherwise, you're not really gonna do well. And I think a lot of salesmen have struggle with that in finding something that they actually think they can sell and that they actually can agree with. Let me get into this comment. So how many ads per day, limits per site? That varies. That literally varies. It depends on how aggressive you want to be with your marketing. It depends on how much money you have. Literally, it just depends. But if you have the means, advertise quite a bit, depending on your budget, right? I have a budget for my marketing and for my acquisition. So definitely divide those two so that you can be able to more effectively work your marketing process or your sales funnel. But how many ads per day, it is really depending up to you. You'll notice, and it also depends on your market. You'll start noticing in the market, and I've seen this actually with email marketing too. Is like you might be sending a ton, but some days you're not getting a lot, and some days you're gonna get some responses. It really doesn't. It's not linear. It's not something that you can just say, oh, I know I'm gonna get this many. By the end of the day, by the end of the week, you might get that same average. Like I said, the law of averages. You'll probably hit that same number, and then every week you'll start seeing that average increase. But for the main part, it's non-linear. Now I have another one. On your offer letter, do you offer the same for a 1.0 acre lot and a 1.1 acre lot if everything else is similar? Yeah. Honestly, value, and that's another great thing about sales. value is so relative. I mean, different people look at different things differently. And I don't know if I explained that correctly. It's like saying one man's trash is another man's treasure. I sold property, and actually, here's a great example from our past live session. Not from our past, but very back, we interviewed one of our own students, and because he acquired a property for 900 and sold it for 12K. Same property, right? And he sold it for 12K. Those are the type of margins that you're trying to hit, right? So yes, I sent the same type of offer. In fact, my last letter campaign, I sent out 340 something letters. So far, since they just hit the market, it's been like 2 weeks since they hit the market. I think it was like 7 or 8 calls. 3 of them have told me to piss off, and then the rest have told me to have accepted my offer. One specific owner actually accepted my offer and has 4 properties. One she's already pending on selling, but I have 3 properties that I'm acquiring from her, and we were able to negotiate each property. They were roughly around the same size, except for one. It was like 0.3 acres or something like that, so we went to 37,000 on that. I had sent an offer letter of 29,000, and I was able to negotiate one of those properties down to 22,000, and that's literally, it was, the other one was the other property was literally the same size, but it's just depending on what the area looks like, what's included in the property, and really you have to do your due diligence when you send out a letter campaign, and people start calling you back and accepting your offers. You're not just gonna jump in, right? You're gonna investigate this and make sure that it's a good investment, and then negotiate with the owner, right? Yeah, but I send out different kinds of offer letters. I send out pretty much a blanket offer, and if they are not happy with the offer, I let them know that it was a blanket offer. So I'll look into the property and make sure that I can assess it correctly and give them a better value, give them a better offer. And sometimes, like I said, like I did my due diligence, I was able to negotiate down, right? So it works both ways. It works in your favor and sometimes in their favor, and you want to be honest about it. So be honest about it. What else was I gonna say? Good thing I have a script. Landwatch.com, you can use that. You can use social media. I don't know if it was that last guy that we interviewed. Excuse me, man. Oh, TikTok, IG, Instagram, and Snapchat. Use all of those if you can, if you know how to, if you want to as well. But I would suggest that you do. One of our students sold on TikTok. It works sometimes. So, and it's free. So if you have the time, if you have the means, do it. I mean, if you understand how to use TikTok. I use TikTok. I put some, you can go follow me. It's Land Investing, because I forgot the end. Land Investing Pros. You can go follow me there on TikTok and see all my shenanigans. I'm really just talking about land investing, all things land investing. You can also follow me on Instagram. You follow the Land Investing Pros on Instagram, or check us out on YouTube as well. I know some of you are watching on YouTube, but I'm on social media, and social media works, man. There's so many people there, and it's free. So use it to your best advantage. Even if imagine an 8-year-old going to their dad saying, "Look at this awesome view," and it's your property, right? That can happen. That does happen, actually. Anyway, so let's go into tool or sources that you can use, platforms that you can use that are not free. You can create your own website. You can use Carrot. I suggest you use Carrot because it's pretty easy to use. It is, like I said, this is not free, so it does cost some money. I don't remember how much because I personally don't have a website. Like I said, I like to do email marketing. You can use email marketing to market and advertise your website and draw people there. It's a good way to do it. I simply just don't do it. That's pretty much it. For example, Aaron has a website and he sees some turnover on there. I preferably just don't want to deal with it. Don't want to deal with the upkeep. I'm pretty cheap like that, I guess. And with my email marketing, I guess that's the next one that I'm going to talk about anyways. With email marketing, you can use MailChimp. MailChimp.com is a pretty good source for sending out letter campaigns, or mail campaigns, email campaigns. Ooh, man. And you can advertise your listings there by emails and send out. If you have a buyer's list, you can send out to people there. You can also send out to people who, for example, in your Facebook Marketplace, if they're interested on it, you can just direct them to your website. Or if they're not interested in that property, you can also just, once you've generated a buyer's list, you can send your all of your buyers list a whole letter campaign, and basically advertise to them the properties as well. And you'll want to generate a list of buyers, because there are people and there are investors, there are developers, companies, agencies that are looking for vacant lands. So if be aware of those. In fact, I think in the land flipping formula we do have one, and I just spoke with him, and he hasn't gotten back to me. So I'm pointing you out. You know who you are. We did talk about a week ago. Basically, yeah, you pretty much that's pretty much it, honestly. And once you get there's probably more out there that you can use as well to increase your sales funnel, and then start narrowing down. I think the process, the important part of your process is that you should, when it comes from being a lead, and the way that you interact with them throughout that whole time, that the smoothness of that is what's going to help you. And the way that you can do that is pretty much by setting up a script, or setting up a strategic process to basically eventually close them. If they're looking at your website and they're interested, you can have them contact you. You can reach out to them, and then if they're not interested, you can have other options for them. But the most important thing, I think, is for them to eventually just come to you and speak with you. I like email campaigns because when I receive an email, for example, I can start warming them up. I can start asking questions. I can start seeing where their value lies. For example, what they're looking for, right? If they're looking for getting out of the city, if they're looking for a nice neighborhood, then I know if I have an inventory, which, by the way, you should be building up an inventory, not just 2-3 properties. You should have multiple properties, and you should be able to work with your budget that way. But once I'm warming them up, I'm understanding what they are looking for. I can start warming them up, basically giving them what they want, right? With the type of properties that they're looking for. If I have something to offer, that's what I'll do. And then I'll try to get them on a call, see and send them more information that way, and then set them up for another call that will be more serious as to buying the property, and talking about the process of actually closing, how easy it is. Because one of the things that can refrain and keep people from buying is how long it might take. They think, because there's so much of a preconceived idea of how hard it is to acquire a house and turn over a title, and that you have to use a title company, and it takes 30 days or 6 months or whatever. Then they're gonna be afraid, or they're gonna be dissuaded from actually purchasing the property. And that's not true. If you use a mobile notary, you can get it done in a week, maybe 2 weeks. I've done it, and it works just fine. We actually have I said last week, this is for you checklist people. Last week I gave out a checklist, and it was very detailed as to how you can close your own deals, pretty much turn over the title to yourself or vice versa. And by using a mobile notary, it has a step-by-step process. You can check it off as you go. If you want that, comment checklist below, and I'll send it to you. Gosh, there's so many people wanting those checklists. It's kind of insane. But I think I've overstayed here. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, that's pretty much it for the process. You should you should definitely look into more education on this. And I mean, after a while, you're going to understand, and time is the best teacher. But with time, you're going to recognize what platforms and what mediums of marketing you should use to improve. That will work best for you personally and the type of business structure that you have. And that's pretty much it. That wraps it up for us here at the Land Flipping Formula. For those watching this on YouTube, hit like on the button and subscribe as well. Click the link below to join us here at the Land Flipping Formula Facebook group so you can get more interaction with our community, with me, so you won't miss another live session. If you're interested in the course or the coaching program, feel free to contact me on Facebook. The link is added below for the Facebook group. If you're looking for a land investing course or the coaching program, the link is for the Land Investing Pros is below, and it's also right above us, I believe, right above me. Yeah. You can also jump on a one-on-one call with me. I do set that time aside to do a consulting call, and I'm fairly cheap. I think I'm fairly cheap, at least that, if you think that your business could use that kind of help, then let me know. I'll give you my Calendly, and then you can set up a time with me. That's pretty much it. I'm Abdil. I'm with the Land Investing Pros, Paul and Willie. This was the Land Flipping Formula weekly live session. Thank you guys, and have a good one. Bye-bye.